Using bank deposit is an optional feature in CenterPoint. Bank deposits allow you to specify which receipts were deposited at one time. The real advantage is in doing the bank reconciliation. It makes it much easier to identify bank statement deposit amounts. Let's do a bank deposit. Over in my processes, I have under my quick list a bank deposit, or you can go up to processes, banking, and bank deposits. We have a couple of bank deposits that are already in the list. It will give you your bank deposit number, description, deposit date, the amount, and the status. And the status is either going to be open, closed, or reconciled. If a bank deposit has been reconciled in the bank reconciliation, the status will be reconciled. We're going to create a new bank deposit. So we're going to click New and select our company and select the bank account that we're working with. The description will fill in with today's date and deposit on the end. You can change that if you wish. And the date can be changed up in the top. And the numbering sequence is what's filling out this deposit number. And this sequence is using the letters DEP in the beginning and then doing the MMDDYY for the date. If you're going to be printing a deposit slip, which is another advantage, you can print a deposit slip and get those forms the same place that you get your check forms and actually have the deposit slip printed and ready to take to the bank. Then you can have this check mark checked. If you're not going to be printing, you can uncheck that, and then you can right click and set that as a default either way of which you're going to be doing. And the filter at the bottom, it lets us pick what date range we want to look in. So let's look in this whole month that we're doing. And we want to be looking at the different payment types. So make sure, and if you're not using payment type, make sure that you're checking unknown. And if you're doing your different payment types of whether it's credit card or cash or check, then go ahead and check which one that you're working with. In this case, we're going to be working with checks. But you want to probably select unknown too in case you didn't fill that in on some of the receipts. That will identify which receipts you want to be looking at, and then we can go to our Receipts tab. In our Receipts tab, these are all of the receipts that have not been assigned yet to a bank deposit and our open deposit. So we have some buttons on the bottom. We can do a select all, and it would select all of these, or click clear all. If we are on the screen and notice that a receipt is missing, perhaps we have to go back to receipts and enter that receipt. If we come back and then we can click refresh, and it'll include that in our list. So we're going to go ahead and click select all, but there is one check that didn't get included in this particular bank deposit, so we're going to uncheck that one. These 6 receipts are included in this one bank deposit, and our amount is totaling over here in the lower right. Now we can go to the summary tab and see the summary of what we have. If we want to take some cash out, we could identify that here. We were going to take $200 perhaps for travel and meeting expense, and we could put a memo if we want. Over on the right, we get a total of the receipts that were marked as payment type checks, and the ones that were not marked as anything, as unknown, and totaling our gross deposit less our cash. And this would be our total cash deposit then. We're going to actually leave this at 0 for our sample here. And now we're ready to save. If we just click save, we notice now that over in our list of deposits, the status is open. So it hasn't been told to actually make that deposit. It's just sitting here as open. So if we had some other receipts that needed to be put in, we could easily come back here, edit it, and include those new receipts into the same deposit. If we are done with this particular deposit and we're ready to take this to the bank, then we can go ahead and edit and click Make Deposit. When we click Make Deposit, that's going to close this particular deposit and identify our status here as closed. So now if we go to our bank reconciliation, let's go over to Processes, Banking, and Bank Reconciliation. We have a bank rec open for this particular bank for this time period ending 12/31/2018. And now if we look at our bank reconciliation, notice we have one check up here that doesn't have a deposit number, and there might be several different receipts there that are part of that. But this amount that is part of all of these transactions is now showing us the total amount, and this $320,288.50 is what we would see on our bank statement. That's what we're trying to clear to. So instead of having to go through our list of receipts and add up which ones match that number on the deposit, it's doing it for us and totaling this up. When I check the top one of the total, it automatically clears all of those receipts for us. And now we match out with our bank statement with the difference down at the bottom. So that just makes it easier in doing your bank reconciliation. It will print the deposit slip for you and keep track of what you've taken to the bank and what you haven't. If you needed to get rid of one of these bank deposits, you could simply highlight that deposit and click delete, and that would delete that. Or if you needed to reprint a deposit slip, you can highlight any one of these deposit slips and click print deposit slip. It'll just reprint that particular slip. And those are the details that you're needed in order to do your making the bank deposit.